Most people use AI like a fancy Google search. That's why they get nothing out of it. I use AI every single day to build, and these are the 7 workflows that save me over 10 hours a week. The best part, you don't need to code at all. Anyone can use every single one of these. Let's go. Here's the thing. AI isn't magic. The people winning with it, aren't necessarily smarter. They just have been better at the system. By the end of this video, you have 7 plug and play workflows you can steal from me today. Stick around for number 5 because that is what I value the most. Number 1, we're brain dumping, okay? I record like a 2-minute voice memo of everything in my head. Messy, no structured, everything's tangled up, right? Then once I dropped it to AI and say, okay, organize this to a third section with action items. That really changed everything. What took me, 30 minutes turning to 30 seconds with AI. And the plan was actually better than what I could, ever written. On the screen, there's the prompt that you can use to output to your, codecs, cloud cowork, or cloud code. All right, next up, we got number 2. Number 2 is a daily email prioritization workflow, which, takes, 5 minutes, for your cloud or cowork to digest your daily unread emails and then just rank them by priorities. P0s, P1, P2, P3, and FYIs or just trash. Everyone's got a different mailbox with different commercials or with different message from their boss, right? Everyone would need that at first thing in the morning. Number 3, this is huge. AI is a private tutor. When I try to learn something new, I don't just ask for an explanation. I say, explain this to me like I'm 12. Then quiz me over and over until I really understand it. Then let me explain to you on what this is, Feynman's techniques, right? The last part is having you test me again over this so that, is this making sense to you, my answer? And then if I'm wrong, correct me. Don't just give me straight answers. Number 4, never ever take a meeting notes again. Okay. I record the call and then I feed it to the transcript to AI and ask for a summary plus a list of, who does what by when. No more just, wait, what did we actually talk about in this meeting and what did I needed to make sure I collect? No more like writing the notes while missing the important conversations, right? So everything will take a minute or 2 for AI to transcript. And we have number 5. This one, I promise, is the most important one out of the 7. Big decisions used to paralyze me. Now I dump all my options, constraints and what I care about into AI and say, make everything that I gave you a decision matrix. And, give me your thoughts, give me your understanding, give me your knowledge background about this. And more importantly, give me your recommendation with the trade-offs. It doesn't decide for me. It makes my own thinking 10 times clever. I've used this for everything from the laptop, which project I build next, everything like that. Workflow number 6, this is rephrasing any hard conversations. When you're talking to your boss about, raising or, giving like a long break, it's hard, right? And you can use AI for it. And then rephrasing the conversation that actually scares you, well, AI is better than that, Asking for a raise, pushing back on your boss or like a tough talk with your someone else, even if someone close, right? I understand this is hard. Instead of just hoping it goes well, I tell AI, play the other person, be skeptical, push back and don't make it easy, right? Then I practice and afterwards I ask, where was I weak? Where should I, say, what should I say instead? Whatever is going to make the conversation better, right? By the time I had the real conversation, I've already had it 5 times with AI. The nerves are gone. I actually can stand up and, say the words I need to say, right? Okay, so for number 7, this one, feels like the future. You can actually give AI a recurring job. Every morning, scan these topics and give me three things that worth knowing, right? And it just does it. If you're a CVS, you probably want to know what kind of specials Walgreens are running, right? So probably tell Cloud or Codex every morning at 8 a.m. like look up what Walgreens are doing for promotion wise. This is where the most people haven't caught up on. You're not really asking AI questions anymore. You're giving it a job, right? This job can be anything, any information that you wanted to know, any AI news that you're willing to know, any website you follow every day. You can give it AI to give you like a summary at 8:30 or 9 a.m. in the morning, right? Hey, so there is 7 workflows: brain dumps, email, learning, meetings, decisions, content, and at the end, build your own assistant, right? None of these needs code. Everything can be copied from a prompt. All of them saves real time, and I use it over and over every day. Now, here's the actually challenge of you. Start using any of these sevens right now, today. I'm Jack. I'll be seeing you in the next video.